Hello, dear friends and fellow TCM students. This is a part 3 of the 3-part video on Group 1 herbs, which are warm, acrid herbs to release exterior cold. In this lesson, I'm going to review 4 more herbs, which are mainly used for help nasal congestion and relieve headache associated with sinus nasal congestions. These 4 herbs are 辛夷、细辛、苍耳子、苍耳草, and 白芷. The way I remember it in Chinese is 辛夷细心的把苍耳子放在白芷上 to help with the nasal congestion and the headache associated with it. In English, I remember as Aunt Magnolia carefully placing the 苍耳子 on piece of white paper to help with nasal congestion and headache. The first herb in this group is the 辛夷. It is actually the magnolia flower. It is beautiful magnolia flower, and when it's dried, it looks like almost buddy. And it's a little bit fuzzy, and it should be placed in the cheesecloth bag for decoction. The magnolia flower, it helps with the nasal obstruction and congestion and sinus problems and related wind cold headache. It also helps with wind damp bee syndrome and skin disorder from itching. So the fuzzy herbs, a lot of times it helps with skin problems. And I call this Aunt Magnolia. The next herb is 细辛. 细 means very thin, and 辛 is rhymed with 心. 心 is heart. So these herbs enter the kidney meridian and heart meridian. If you look at it, the root system is very, very skinny, but it's very massive. The amount of it's very massive. 细辛 we have to remember because it enters a kidney channel, so it helps a lot with the wind cold associated with underlying kidney yang deficiency. 细辛 also helps with headache and toothache and bee syndrome. And one of the most important attributes we need to remember about 细辛 is it warms the lung and transforms the mucus. It is like 干姜. These 2 herbs will help with coughing and wheezing and will help with the cold phlegm. 细辛 is also a little bit toxic, so we only use 2 to 5 grams for decoction. The next herb is very abundant. It's called 苍耳子, or we can call it prickly weed burr. This is the burr that end up on our animals' feet whenever they take a walk. So 苍耳子 enters the lung meridian, and it is for any nasal and sinus problems with thick viscous discharge and related headache. It also helps with obstruction bee syndrome and the skin disorder from itching. As you can see, it's prickly, so it will help with the skin disorder. It has a little bit small toxicity, so use it in around 3 grams. The next herb is 白芷, angelica root. It's beautiful white flower and it's piece of white herb. So the white, 白 means white. So I would think 芷 is rhymed with paper. So also this herb I would think imagine as white piece of paper. So white piece of paper, what can it do? It can soak up. It can soak up the vaginal discharge, and it can soak up with the swelling and pus from the sores and carbuncles. That's how I remember it. It also enters the large intestine stomach channel, which is the Yangming channel. So it will help with frontal headache that will associate with the nasal congestion and sinus. In conclusion, I put everything in a summary. 辛夷, everything in this group, the 4 herbs in this group, all help nasal congestion and wind cold headache associated with the congestion. 辛夷, the magnolia flower, Aunt Magnolia, you need placed in the cheesecloth bag for decoction. And 细辛, remember the root. So it's like a caring heart with lots of thoughts. And the caring heart is right next to the lung. So it warms the lung with a caring heart for cold phlegm and coughing and sneezing and wheezing. it also, because it enters the kidney meridian and it is warm, so it helps with kidney yang deficiency associated with exterior cold. 苍耳子, that's a prickly burr weed. So it helps with skin disorder with itching because it is quite prickly, and also with help with sinus with thick discharge of mucus. It is slightly toxic, just like 细辛, so they are used in small amount of 3 grams. And the last but not least is our 白子. 白子, remember, it's a white piece of paper soak up discharges. What discharge? The vaginal discharge and sores and pus. It also enters the stomach channel, so it helps with the headache in the frontal area. And next to frontal area is next to our nose and sinus, so definitely it will help with the frontal headache. So the way remember is 心仪细心地把苍耳子放在白纸上, or Aunt Magnolia with a caring heart picked out all the prickly burr weeds and placed them on the piece of paper to help with allergies and sinus and headaches. I made a chart to summarize all the herbs for headaches in this class. So all the 4 herbs we just talked about, 心仪, 细心, 苍耳子, and 白子, all help with headache. So the first 3, they all help headache with nasal and sinus congestion, and with 细心 help even with, along with some toothache associated with the congestion and sinus. And 白子, since it enters the stomach channel, it helps the frontal or the Yang-Ming meridian headache, white paper. And we just learned in the prior 2 lessons, the 高本, which is tallest bend, hit its head on the top. It helps the vertex headache. And 羌活, that's the dark herb, the black herb that enters the kidney channel. So it will help with the bladder and kidney to help the headache on the back and sides. This concludes all the herbs, all the warming herbs that release exterior. I will talk about the cooling herbs that release exterior warmth, exterior heat, wind heat in the next lesson. Thank you for watching and best luck on your tests.